Hello and welcome back to the Benchwarmers. Bit of a sad episode today. I'm gonna start off really sad. No, it's not sad for you. It's very sad for me. But bit sad. You know, F1. What's happened in F1, Harrison? Why would I be sad about it?
Now, Max Verstappen has finally lost the race, hasn't he, Matt?
Unfortunately, Max Verstappen has lost a race.
I can't believe it.
I'm very upset.
He's lost for words.
Obviously, we're a bit late to this, but Australia happened last week. A bit of an entertaining race, I'd say.
A lot happened.
Well, the fans would say it's entertaining. I'd say it's just a different winner, but a boring race.
No, because okay, yes, Red Bull fans would say that, but Red Bull fans literally get enjoyment off every other race. Just let other fans have some sort of entertainment for once. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I understand. Ferrari can have this week, fine. But let's be honest, we're going to win in Japan quite easily. We've won there for the previous years.
You don't know. But did you win Australia last year?
Yes.
So, you know, you might not win next week, who knows? Maybe the car's rubbish again.
Maybe, well, the car wasn't rubbish. His brakes just failed and, it overheated, it set on fire, everyone thought the engine blew up. It was just his brakes.
Oh, so quite serious then?
Not really.
Oh, so it's fine.
It's just brakes caught on fire and it just screwed the wheel, so we had to stop. Only on lap 4 as well, so that's a bit disappointing. You know, we got
on
lap 4.
Oh my god. Didn't even get to double digits.
No, I didn't even get to double digits. I had to watch the highlights and then I just turned off. I didn't turn off, but it got a bit disappointing after the first 4 laps.
So we're saying he's slightly mudded.
He isn't mudded.
Max Verstappen.
You keep saying this. He's not mudded. He's the best driver currently. You can't keep saying he's mudded.
Yeah, but you got DNF.
It doesn't matter if he got a DNF.
You got DNF.
He's still the best driver.
You lost the race. You wouldn't expect that from the world champion,
I'm not
would
arguing.
you? You would not expect that from the world champion.
It's not his fault.
You're only as good as your driver at the end of the day, and the car was rubbish in that one race.
Yeah, and he's the greatest driver.
Some might argue differently, but okay, we'll say that for another day.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
No, to be honest,
delusional.
To be honest, yes, he did lose, but it doesn't really matter because he's already in the lead, isn't he, on the standings, I'm pretty sure, because he's won the first 2 races.
Yeah.
So yes, I am trying to annoy Matt, but you can't deny Max Verstappen is very good. Gotta say, I just so don't annoy him that much.
Yeah.
He'll
you
end
do.
the podcast in a minute.
I will.
Yeah.
Button's hovering over it. But no, I'd say unfortunate from our behalf. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed in Perez. He should be performing better in that car, and he got 5th behind McLaren's and Ferraris.
Yes.
What's the point of having arguably the best car on that grid and getting 5th?
Well, to me, I think it's about time that Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri come a bit higher in the table. Obviously, they finished 3rd and 4th, so maybe they would better than Perez in that one race.
Well, quite frankly, it's good from Piastri's point of view.
Yeah.
Australian, and he got 4th in his home race. So that's pretty good.
Can't ask for anything better, can you, really?
Well, he can. He could have been ahead of Norris and got podium.
Yeah. Well, you know, teammates are finishing on level terms, basically. I think it's a very good race from both drivers, to be honest.
Yeah, but do you know who did have a good race? Carlos Sainz. Oh my lord, was he on fire that day?
I couldn't believe it, to be honest.
I've never seen someone drive as dominant as that since Max. In a race.
Like last week.
I'd say last week. Let's just say that. But come on, Carlos Sainz has been on fire this season.
Especially coming back from surgery as well. Because wasn't he out for a little bit?
Literally a week or 2 from his appendicitis surgery. And he's come back and he's just dominated the race by 2 seconds? But he was ahead for 10 seconds majority of that race. And he overtook Max on the 2nd lap, just on pure pace.
And he came above Charlie Leclerc as well. He's obviously his teammate who everybody highly rates him. So the question does sort of come up, are Ferrari making the wrong decision by getting rid of Carlos Sainz?
It's interesting. I was having this conversation with some people yesterday.
Yeah.
They were saying, why is Sainz leaving when he is the one who's outperformed? You know, he's won Ferrari's only 2 races in the past 2 years. He won Singapore last year. He won the race this year.
Oh, really?
Why are they getting rid of the race winner instead of the driver who is arguably slower? And don't get me wrong, I don't think Charles Leclerc is a bad driver. I think he's very good. He's very fast. But
yeah, he's definitely top 5, top 10.
He's top 5.
Yeah.
But do you want a top 5 driver when arguably Sainz is top 3?
Ooh, top 3. You gonna rate him that highly?
Current form, it's Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, or Sainz, then Norris.
Sainz, Norris, Verstappen.
No, Verstappen first, then Sainz, then Norris.
Yeah, fair enough.
But why would you hire some? I mean, come on. I know I'm not a fan of Hamilton, and I've come out and saying this, but why would you hire a driver who DNF'd?
Yep.
This race has got just got into the points the previous 2 races, where Sainz is winning and getting podiums.
Where's Hamilton in the standings?
He's
got to be low. He's got to be like 7 or 8 or something. I don't want to admit this, but Hamilton hasn't had the best start to the season.
He hasn't had a good season in 2 years.
He hasn't. Okay,
3 years.
That's your opinion, mate. That's your opinion.
He's 10th in the standings on 8 points.
I do think it was maybe the wrong decision by Ferrari. Yes, Hamilton is a big name, one of the best drivers in the history of F1. But at the moment, currently, Sainz has to be better than both drivers, both Hamilton and Charlie Leclerc. So I feel like they are just making the wrong decision. But whoever gets Carlos Sainz will be very good for years to come, I suppose, wouldn't they?
I still think Sainz will go Red Bull. I really pray our decision-making team, or whoever is in charge of the transfers for our team, they get their asses up and they sign Sainz instead of Perez next season. It would be a waste. It would be such a waste to get rid of Sainz next year.
I could see it happening, but at the same time, I think that's just a bit unfair. Max Verstappen and Sainz together.
Lethal combination, we win everything.
You actually would, and you already win everything already, so what's the point? Give him to somebody else, make it more competitive, please. Give him to, I don't know, give him to Mercedes, give him to...
Yeah, I would say Mercedes would be looking at him as well. Because they're currently looking at Max, saying, bit of tension in Red Bull, we should sign Max to see if he will come.
Yeah.
If they don't get Max, surely Sainz is on their agenda.
Well, I've just recently seen a rumour, saying that Sebastian Vettel has potentially been in talks with Toto Wolff about returning to F1. Could we see that happening, Matt?
I don't think so.
He's been retired for a year and a bit now. I don't know. Obviously, he's one of my favourites growing up, but I can't see it happening either, to be honest.
Oh, I don't see it happening either.
Could be fun, though.
He might join as, ambassador or something.
Yeah.
But I don't see him joining as a driver.
He could be like a happy sort of Ricardo sort of character, couldn't he? For
reserve
Mercedes.
driver.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like Sainz would... I think he'd probably best suit Mercedes.
I don't think he would. He's been a Red Bull Academy driver.
He
was there when Max came into F1.
So why did he leave?
Because he wanted to go to the front of the grid.
Yeah.
Because 2014, I think, is when he came to Toro Rosso at the time, and so did Max. Okay. They both came to 2015 Max came. But Max outshone him by quite a bit, and then he moved to Red Bull a year later, and Sainz was stuck at Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
So Sainz probably thought, that should have been my seat, so he decided, why should I stay here if Max is going to get spotlight and all that stuff? So he moves to Renault, and then McLaren, and then now Ferrari. I still think, though, if Red Bull gets rid of Perez and offers a seat up, they will sign Sainz, and Sainz would be inclined to go back because he knows he's a good driver and he could win races with Red Bull.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd say, I think that's just like a deadly duo, isn't it?
It would be deadly because, let's be honest, Perez was good 21 season. But then after that, where's he been?
Nowhere. Nowhere to be seen, has he, Matt?
He's been lost.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's as good as a second driver needs to be for a Red Bull team. But at the same time, you don't...
At the same time...
I think Max Verstappen would probably prefer to have Perez just because he knows there's less competition there.
Yeah, Max would prefer a teammate who isn't going to challenge him. Because the last time someone challenged him was 2018 with Daniel, and they crashed into each other and it got really heated for a brief moment.
Yeah, and surely the ego of Max Verstappen would sort of...
it'd come through a little bit.
It would sort of challenge his ego, wouldn't it? And I'm not too sure.
Because I'll be honest, if Sainz keeps it up, and he does get the Red Bull seat, potentially he could be a title fighter.
You could, if he signs Sainz, then maybe in a few years, if Max Verstappen does leave, like he said, I think he's came out and said maybe leave in 2027. I'm pretty sure.
Well, his contract's until 28.
Or 28, sorry. So if he leaves in 2028, maybe you can have Sainz as your first driver in a few years, and then sign somebody else like Lando Norris.
Yeah, but I still think Sainz will go to Audi and be with them.
Okay, fair enough.
But a year, imagine him go to a year at Red Bull and he just starts winning races.
Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting, to be fair.
It'd be too much. If you sign Sainz, then it'd be another year of just boring F1 races.
It wouldn't, though, because like I said, Sainz could challenge Max. He knows how Max races. He was a teammate of Max. He will know how to challenge and win against Max.
So if he beats Max, then Max is in the mud, and then Max can leave Red Bull, and then he can just leave the sport. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Fair enough.
But we've seen like glimpses of it. We saw on Australia, Sainz legitimately overtook Verstappen on pure pace and skill in a Ferrari, which is the second best car.
You are right.
So if he's put in an equal car, he's given equal chance. Like, what else could you want? He would win. He may not win.
I want to see it, to be honest.
He may not win. He may not win the championship, but he'll definitely win a handful of races that season.
Now I want to move on to speaking about McLaren, because obviously now Lando Norris finished third and Oscar finished fourth. So Lando Norris, right? He's been what's it saying here? He's been moving up 2 places every race. So surely this must mean he's going to win next race in Japan.
Japan is not a strong track for him.
No, why not?
It isn't. He's not.
He's moved up 2 places every race so far this season. So it must mean he's going to come first.
He won't.
No,
I don't think he will.
Am I just being an optimistic fan?
Maybe a little bit, but he's still due a race win, and I still don't think he's going to get it for a while.
Yeah.
Unless
everybody's saying online like Oscar's going to get one before.
Well, he already has. He won a sprint before him.
Yeah, it doesn't really count.
Sure, sprints don't
really
properly count, but he still won a race.
I suppose so.
But if McLaren can keep bringing upgrades and they can keep progressing this season, end of the season, then yes, I reckon Norris could win a race. But not this first half.
So do you think by the end of the season he can win at least one?
At least one. Especially on a track he's strong at. I think he could win Silverstone.
What are his strongest tracks in?
Silverstone, definitely.
Okay.
That's by far one of his best tracks.
Did he finish, where was the highest finish? Second?
Second.
Yeah, okay.
So, and that was last year when their car was like terrible for the first half and they brought upgrades. This year, they have a car that could potentially win it if they continue upgrading.
I think McLaren, either way, are in good stead for the future, as long as Lando doesn't leave. But even if he does leave, then we've got Oscar Piastri, and he can just become the first driver, because some people are saying he's already better.
I think Piastri is on par with the skill of Norris at the moment.
Exactly.
And if we sign Norris, like the rumours are saying, it gives Piastri plenty of chance to go and win some races with McLaren.
Probably give him a better chance as well.
It would give him a better chance.
Just because of the ego of probably like Lando Norris is probably sky high at the moment, isn't it? You know, he's his first driver. He's the first team driver at McLaren. With the amount of history that McLaren has, some of the fantastic drivers they've had over the years. You know, he must be like over the moon at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah, but he hasn't won anything with them.
No.
Daniel Ricciardo's their last race winner. And Daniel Ricciardo was a really crap season for him.
Yeah, he's been not great this season, has he?
He's disappointed me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Danny Rick fan, like deep inside. But let's be honest, he's way past his prime. He's finished.
Again, is it just his car? Would you not say it's his car over
It's not his car, because you've seen Yuki, who's been performing. He's got points already.
Yeah.
But Daniel, he's been so slow.
So where's Yuki in the standings?
Higher than Daniel.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, fair enough.
But still, I think Daniel said he wants to get the Red Bull seat for next year, and
really?
that's why he's racing this year.
Aiming a little bit high, isn't he?
He is aiming a bit high, but he won't get it. Not at this rate, unless he improves his form. At this rate, Yuki or Sainz is getting it.
Yeah.
Not him. And quite frankly, at this point, we've seen Danny. We know how he performs. He's won his races.
Mm-hmm.
You can say he's a decent driver. Make room now and put Lawson in that car. Because Liam Lawson is by far a great upcoming driver, and he would perform in that team.
I don't know who that is.
Remember last year when Daniel crashed and Liam came in and replaced him?
Not really, but okay. Moving on. I don't know.
The people listening all know who Liam Lawson is. You need to touch up on your drivers.
I do. But talking about decent drivers, George Russell, he sort of had.
You say George Russell's decent?
Yeah, of course. He's one of our own, one of Great Britain's drivers in the F1. We got to rate him somewhat.
Oh, you patriot.
Obviously, he crashed.
He had a bit of a fumble.
Both McLaren drivers got a DNF in that race, didn't they?
No, both Mercedes drivers.
Oh, Mercedes drivers. Sorry, said the wrong name. Bloody hell. Both Mercedes drivers got a DNF, and it's slightly disappointing.
Yeah, that was a poor race from Mercedes.
Yeah.
I think what happened. I know Lewis had an issue on his car where he just had to retire because of his car was breaking down. But what was George doing?
I don't have a clue, to be honest, because obviously everybody was moaning that Alonso sort of like braking in front of him, but he was having his own problems, wasn't he, with the car?
Yeah,
so you can't really blame him.
His throttle was like braking, so he had to brake earlier going into that corner. Otherwise, he would have ended up the same as Russell. But if you're an F1 driver and you see a car going slowly, surely your reaction tells you to just brake instead of still going full throttle.
Yeah, just brake, slow down a bit, make sure that Alonso's okay in front of you, and then carry on. Don't just go full speed and expect that everything's to be all right, because that crash looked a bit crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, because arguably he could have easily avoided it. He just needed to slow down, and he could have taken him on the straight. That was literally the next corner.
Yeah.
But no, Russell decides it's last lap. I'm just going to bomb him. And he clips the inside wall. He goes off, and then he crashes in the middle of the track.
I've got a bit of a random question though, because what do the other so let's say George will crash. What do the other drivers behind him do at that situation? Do they just overtake him slowly, or
they have to slow down and then overtake him?
Yeah. Okay. I thought surely, like, if a crash happens, why doesn't the race just stop for a little bit and carry on?
It does if it's serious enough. It's called a red flag. So if there's like really serious crash, then it gets red flagged.
Okay.
And then it stops. But because it was the last lap that he crashed on, they just had a virtual safety car, and that's why everyone went slowly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I didn't know that rule, so I was just trying to clear that up.
But no, a little interesting stat for that though.
Go on then.
Every time Sainz has won, Russell has crashed.
Oh really?
Every single time he's won, he's crashed.
How many times is that?
3.
So he's crashed
Two
3
of them.
times.
2 of them were last lap crashes.
That is strange.
It is strange.
Conspiracy theory
Theorist right there. But he's crashed every single time Sainz has won a race.
That is so weird. Alright. Why? So he's crashed 3 times. How many races has he played, Russell?
He's been since Williams in 2019, so
that's a lot of races. That's 3 times under a lot, I suppose.
yeah, he's been there 5 years.
Yeah. Was it more concerning that Lewis Hamilton got a DNF as well? Or
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
I think at this point, in this stage in his career, Russell is a better driver than Hamilton in the Mercedes team.
Ooh.
He is.
Ooh,
You can't say he isn't.
You
can't say he isn't because Russell's ahead of him in the standings. He's got more points.
Okay.
He's performing better.
Okay.
Russell will be Mercedes' number one driver for next year, so arguably he has to be better this year. Well, he's not. Russell's going to be number one no matter what.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I've read something where Lewis Hamilton has come out and just said he's slightly unhappy at Mercedes now,
I would be.
and he's looking forward ahead to the Ferrari. But at the same time, like, you've still got to try and continue and do the best you can.
Yeah, and this season I don't think he is. I think this season he's just like, why bother? And he's just casually doing the races. He's not trying as hard.
But again, like, how far can you push it if your car is that bad? You know what I mean?
Well, top 5 maybe, but other than that, it's below top 5, getting the minimum points.
I can't see 5. I think there's 5 better drivers than him, to be honest, this season.
I think there's more than 5 better drivers than him this season.
I think he'll end up finishing like 7th or 8th, maybe at best.
Well, he's currently 10th.
Yeah, I think 7th or 8th at best. I can't see him getting higher than the likes of, Sainz, Charlie Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, Alonso's ahead of him, Stroll's ahead of him, Russell, Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, and Verstappen all ahead of him.
Yeah, I can't see him getting better than them.
Well, I can see him getting better than the Astons. But other than that, he's not going to get ahead of the others.
Yeah, maybe not Alonso. We do like Alonso here. I'm a massive fanboy of Alonso. Hopefully he can maybe get a move to Red Bull.
By your theory then, Hamilton is finishing no higher than 8th.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
I think that's a reasonable argument for this season, especially with his form.
It's a bit annoying because then you got to think about it. If he's finished 8th this season, can you go and win it with Ferrari?
No.
Probably not.
No chance. Sainz and Leclerc is the best chance Ferrari has to win a championship, and if Sainz is leaving at the end of the season, there's no chance they're going to win one for a while.
Yeah, like, I feel like because obviously, if Ferrari have the second best car in the sport at the moment, he could probably get top 5 at least. But I could see him winning next year.
I reckon he'll do a similar performance in Ferrari that Perez is doing for Red Bull this year.
Okay, that's a good comparison. I could agree with that.
So Leclerc will be the number one by quite a fair margin, and then Hamilton will be lacking behind, just not winning as many races or getting podiums as Leclerc. Sure, he might get a handful here and there. You should do in a Ferrari.
But it's not consistent enough.
But it's not consistent like Perez.
Yeah, and especially if you consider his level of like high achievement over the years, he would want to get at least top 3. He would at least want to be on the podium. but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't see it happening. I mean, at this point, bring in Ollie Behrman.
Yeah.
Because he literally had more points than Hamilton after, 2 weekends?
He was good, but you don't want to, again, like,
you don't want to force it too quickly, yeah.
You don't want to overhype him as such, do you know what I mean? You don't want to push it too much.
Yeah.
Where he sort of like doesn't deal with the pressure in that sort of sense.
But still, I think more teams need to bring in younger drivers instead of just like hiring these old 40-year-olds. I think they're past the point of hiring drivers over the age of 35.
Could they do it where they have, instead of having 2 drivers at the track at one time, could you just have like 3 drivers on the track?
Well, that's what everyone argues. This has been a conversation for years in the sport.
Okay.
Why aren't there more teams, more cars, more drivers? Why are we stuck with 20 when in the past there's been 24 or 25? Where's the other drivers? We can easily accommodate them. There's no like limit to how many we can have. We should have brought in Andretti as another team.
Yeah, because every team has 3 drivers down there, I'm pretty sure.
They got 2 main and then a reserve.
Another reserve. So surely why can't that reserve person get some more exposure?
Well, they do. They have to drive practice sessions occasionally throughout the year. Each team has to have.
Yeah, but only occasionally. It's not.
Yeah, they're not having like a race.
It's not every week, is it?
Yeah.
Which will be slightly annoying for them, I suppose.
I still think they need to implement a rule or something. Just like get reserve drivers or get these younger drivers who haven't had experience. Just get them on the track for like 1 week.
So what happens, right? When if you're like smashing it in like F2, for example, you're doing very well, and then you become like a reserve driver for a team. What happens then? Because like
you miss a year and you just don't.
You lose that momentum, don't you?
Well, that's what happened with Piastri. He absolutely smashed F2, took a year out to be Alpine's reserve, and then he signed a year later. So he had a year out.
Oh, okay.
And, you know...
For me, they need to change that rule because that's a bit silly.
I think a rule they should implement is 1 Grand Prix a year. They've got 24. Make one of them just rookies only.
Oh, that could be fun.
Put reserve drivers and, you know, your second driver or whoever you want in another seat and just let all the teams put their reserve drivers for 1 race a week, for 1 race a year. Give them some experience, see how they perform.
You know what I'd like to see as well? I would like to see a managers only race. Or the coaches only race.
No, that'd be crap. That'd be awful. They'd all crash on the first corner.
Oh, fair enough.
They're all like senile old men. They're not going to fit in the car.
Like dad and school race or something. That could be funny. No?
Nah, I don't want to see that.
Oh, my bad. Bad take there. Anything else to speak about, Matt?
Oh, there was the highly controversial thing of the Alonso penalty.
Yes.
Again, though, we have kind of covered that. I still don't think Alonso deserved a 20-second penalty to finish 8th. It should have been at least 5 seconds, not 20.
20 seconds was way too long. Of course, that was probably the amount of time, or probably a little bit longer. George Russell was out for the race for. I don't know, but
I think in comparison you can compare it to.
It's a little bit stupid.
Alonso got 20 seconds for a brake thing.
Yeah.
In 2021, when Hamilton smashed into the rear of Verstappen, knocking him out in the race, that was only a 10-second.
Okay.
So you're comparing a crash that wasn't his fault compared to a crash that was his fault and intentional. Why is 120, why is 110?
Makes no sense. I think is that slightly Lewis Hamilton bias right there?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's British media bias. That's what it is.
I think potentially, but no, he shouldn't have got 20 seconds. He shouldn't.
It should have been less than that.
Should have been 10 seconds at the most.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think.
More than that, it's just a bit harsh. I don't think any. You know, Alonso.
He had problems with his own car, so you can't argue against that really.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's been in F1 for how many years now? He should know.
What could he have done
the correct
differently?
Procedure. Keep driving. Maybe not brake as early as he did, but even still, if you have issues with your car and you can feel it, and Alonso will feel it. He's a driver who's been in the sport for 20 plus years. He knows if his car is broken. He wouldn't just brake to intentionally crash out a driver.
If your car's broken or brakes halfway through the race, can't you just drive off to the side?
That's what they all do. It's what you have to do.
No, but why didn't he just drive off to the side then instead of braking?
Because his car wasn't fully broken. He was just having issues.
Okay. I don't know. I think a little bit I think it's a bit of George Russell's fault and Alonso's fault.
I think it's 50-50. George should have known better to keep going full speed, and Alonso should have maybe not broken as early.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, not a bad race. Different winner.
I think it's a very entertaining race. I think it's the best race so far in F1. Obviously, there's only been 3 races this season. but
it's not been the best though.
I think it has. A lot more happened this week than last week.
The only thing that happened this week was that there were more DNFs.
More DNFs.
There was no fights at the front.
Winner.
Yeah, there wasn't any fights at the front. Sainz literally just dominated, just
Lando
like Max
finished third, very happy. Oscar finished fourth, even more happy. Way better stuff happened this race than last week.
People who aren't Red Bull fans would say that's the best race, even though it was just as boring as watching Max win.
Yeah, but Red Bull fans, there's you know how many more like other fans there are in the league than just Red Bull fans? There's got to be way more.
I know there's more, but that was still just as boring a race as we've had previously. And I think it's mainly because of the regulations. I think it's mainly because of regulations. Everyone said these cars would be better at racing, but we've seen just pure dominance from teams, and it's just not been that fighty as we thought it would be.
Well, I'm happy we've seen a new winner in Carlos Sainz, and hopefully he can continue that form for the remainder of the season. Hopefully challenge Max Verstappen.
I want to see him win. I want to see him win at least 5.
Yeah,
5 or 10.
If he wins 5, then you've got to just admit, Ferrari have got to put their hands up and say, "My bad." You know what I mean? We've signed we should have sacked him.
Do you think they can take back the contract and just be like, "Nah, Hamilton, go away. We don't want you anymore. We're keeping Sainz."
Hamilton. Hamilton gets out of his car for the first day at Ferrari, and they don't open the door. They say, "Go away."
I reckon they would do that, if Sainz keeps winning.
I feel like they must. They've got to. So I don't think you can go off.
They can't.
You can't go off in your word, can you? At that point,
they can't just get rid of a driver that good.
Make him. Sainz can be the reserve driver, or Hamilton can be the reserve.
Sainz should be starting in a front row team.
I know, it's crazy. He needs to be a Mercedes.
He needs to be a Red Bull driver.
Red Bull or someone like that. I don't know.
But anyway, that's the end of.
And I'm looking forward to next week.
We got Japan this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see if Max actually wins this one by a large margin or not.
Probably not.
It probably will. Let's be honest.
No, I'm saying Carlos Sainz back-to-back wins.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Because that would put him at the front of the grid. Ooh. Well, front of the standings.
Ooh, very good prediction there. Happy with that.
So it could be interesting to see. We never know. But other than that, that's been Australia recap, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace out, guys.